Please don't spoil the movie by adding your own soundtrack. And we're on action. We're here. We're live. Hi, I'm Pam Beasley.
Okay. My name is Ted Lasso.
Do you watch Ted Lasso?
I do not.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay.
And welcome back to Please Don't Spoil the Movie, a podcast brought to you by sisters who love each other.
Upon occasion.
Yeah. How are you? How have you been?
I'm doing so... I was supposed to say I'm doing swell, but I'm actually exhausted. I feel like this has been the longest week of my life, and it's only Wednesday. I've been ripping and running since Saturday, and I'm tired of it. Tired of it!
I have a little tiny violin. Sorry, I can't help myself.
Wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
What have you been doing?
Well, Saturday, which is the day we were supposed to record, but I couldn't because I had to
Sorry, guys, we're late.
I had to do 1,001 freaking things. I had to prepare for the game that I had on Sunday. I had to prepare to leave the game and go to Monroe for work. I had to get my tires changed only to find out that the wrong tires were ordered, and that took the whole day. I had to do my hair. I even had, I had plans set out on Saturday to go to dinner with myself. And I had to cancel.
By yourself?
Oh. Yes. The Grinch style.
Okay.
And I had to cancel plans on myself.
The Grinch style.
I just
can't cancel that again.
I just can't cancel that again. I had to cancel plans on myself, and I was pissed. I was very upset. And I was like, I'm going to go at like 7:30. 7 o'clock came around, and I was like, I guess I'm not going.
Where are you going to go?
I was going to go to Ruth's Chris.
Ooh.
Yes.
Were you going to sit at a table or at the bar?
At the bar. Okay. In hopes that a man would come up to me and spark up a conversation. Yeah. But anywho, so I couldn't do any of that. And then I had to clean my room because my room was in shambles. I had to do 1,001 things. So by the time I was done with everything, it was 11 o'clock, and I had to be up at 5 to get to the Dome for the game at 7. And then...
because you do your makeup. I was like, that time is not adding up.
Yeah. So then I had to be at the Dome. We have to be at the Dome for 7, but really like 6:30. And then so the game unfolded. Leave the game at 3 p.m. I'm on the events committee for the Saints cheer crew. I'm the head of the events committee. Okay. So I'm in charge of planning like all of our events and post-game dinners. Planned a dinner at this restaurant. They were horrible to us. The waitresses were cursing at us. Somebody on the team had to pick up the remaining of the tab because there was just so much chaos behind the tickets. It was a $264 bill, and that he had to pick up. $264.
Why did he have to pick it up? Because
people were just like leaving after a while, and then like the waitress was like, "Y'all keep on effing moving and leaving and blah 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 blah," and then he was just like, "Enough, whatever the remaining of the bill is, I'll pick it up." And so he did, and then but I didn't know because I had already left because I had to drive to Monroe. So this is Sunday. We're like, it's taking forever to get the checks. This is after the game. I only anticipated being there. It's like 7 o'clock. The checks took forever. At this point, it's like 9. And then I had to drive to Monroe that night to be at a college fair at 8:30 in the morning. Monroe's a 4-hour drive from New Orleans.
Go back to this restaurant, dude.
Right. They were horrible. We get there. Everything's fine at first. We have a private room. I prefaced in the beginning, there's going to be a large party of us. We're going to be moving around. We're a social group. We're going to get up, talk to each other. They're like, okay, yeah sure, fine. They only give us, for 55 people. Is it
55 of y'all?
That was the number that I gave. Not all 55 of us came. Maybe like 45, 40 of us. I don't know. Still a lot. They gave us only 2 servers. And then the servers not only had us, but then they had tables outside. Stupid. So dumb. And then, get this.
What?
It gets worse. It was both of their like second days working.
What is that?
Poydras. It's that little cut where like Fulton Alley is, and like it's in there.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, hell no. And they were cursing at y'all?
Girl, one of them was fine. One of them was great. The other one, Chalmette, West Bank chick, horrible. She was like, y'all keep on effing moving, and y'all can serve the effing water by yourselves. And someone effing, like, she was cursing the entire time. And I was like, well, this is crazy.
Did y'all contact
Yeah, so luckily, the people who I've been in contact with, they're going to refund us the $234 that, my teammates ended up having to pay. And then they were like, we really want y'all to come back and, like, make it up to y'all. And I was just like, I don't know about that, sis. Unless it's going to be free, I really can't.
Yeah, that looks really bad. Like, we're the New Orleans Saints
cheerleaders.
and you guys
is what you have
And you guys are downtown.
Right.
Very close to the Superdome.
Like, yeah.
What were they thinking?
So that was Sunday. I anticipated leaving at like 7 o'clock so I could at least be in Monroe by like 11. I didn't leave till 9. Me and Dad didn't leave the house till like 10. So we got there like 1, 2 in the morning. It was great. So then I had to wake up at 7 to be at a college fair for 8:30. Was at the college fair from 8:30 to 1. Finally had a break. Went to the hotel, slept, woke up, watched Shrek. Then the next day I had to leave, but before we left, of course, I had to go to these high schools and visit them. So this is Tuesday. I had to make 3 high school visits, drop off some stuff, tell them about Dillard, then drove again in the car for 4 hours to drop off the rental car, then immediately go straight to practice, then to go to sleep, to wake up, to go to another college fair this morning, where my social meter is literally on E. I'm tired of talking to high schoolers. I'm tired.
I tell you every day to quit that job.
I'm tired of talking to high schoolers. I'm like, oh my God, if I have to say one more time that Dillard University is a historically black college, the oldest HBCU in the state of Louisiana, I'm going to lose my turd. Like,
I tell you every day, they don't pay you enough. If you sit down and calculate how much hours you're,
I know. And then I had to, after the fair, of course, I got to go back to work once it's over.
That's wild, because I've been
so then went to work, I was like, ugh, and then now we're here.
That's crazy. I go back to work because I'd be like,
isn't that insane?
I'm done for the day.
And yeah.
And then guess what's tomorrow?
My day of birth.
Her day of birth, everybody.
And then tomorrow I won't even really get to enjoy it because I'm getting my hair done, which is going to take, I'm getting braids, so it's going to take 5 hours. And then I have practice in the evening. And then, of course, between going to practice and getting my braids done, I'm going to want to take a nap. So, like, literally, I'm going to be able to do on my birthdays, get my hair done, nap, and then go to practice.
Hey, every birthday can't be amazing. We'll get them next year.
We'll get them next year. 28.
Oh, you'll be 28, yes.
I'll be 28 tomorrow.
That's crazy.
God.
Old as hell. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
28 ain't what it used to be, Shawty.
What do you mean?
I feel like 28 used to be, I own a house, I got 5 kids.
Oh,
I'm
right.
doing it. 28 now, it's just like, I'm still,
Still figuring out life, still live in my mom's basement.
28 is the new 22.
28 is the new 19.
Oh. That's a while.
Because they used to be out the house at like 20. They was gone.
Girl, they was in war at 16.
Yeah. They were
That was different times.
Literally 12th kid by 15.
Ooh.
Can you imagine?
No, especially living in the country, and it's like, I need to have kids so you guys can work on the farm.
I was talking to our grandmother earlier today, and by my age, her youngest child would be 3 by now.
Yeah.
She would have already, by my age, 28 tomorrow, she'd have already had 4 kids and 3 husbands.
Wait, 3 husbands?
3 husbands.
That's so true. No, she had 3 husbands?
Yes.
Not 2?
3. Dolores and Eli have the same father. Then there's Roy. He's got just one dad.
Oh, I did not know.
And then mom has, Joe.
Oh, I don't know about
grandpa.
this third one. I mean, the second one. I thought Uncle Eli don't think Dolores and Uncle Roy
Eli and Uncle Eli and Auntie Dolores have the same dad, and then Uncle Roy has his own dad, and then mom has her own dad.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know about the second one.
You should really know these things.
You probably didn't know it recently.
I've always known this. These are the facts that I've always known. I've also known about her being stabbed for a while.
Sorry, she didn't tell me that story. About
that's one that may not
I knew
know.
about
But you should know that she's had 3 baby daddies. A life she's lived.
You said husbands, not baby daddies.
Husbands, baby daddies, all of the same these days. What's going on with you?
I've had a week of cinema.
Oh, what did you see?
First off, just want to, before I get to the good stuff, really dive back into Riverdale. It's got me back in. It's got me hooked.
I can't even understand how.
I will say.
Wait, did you pick up where you left off, or you started from the beginning?
No,
okay.
No.
Absolutely not.
It was too much. I read like an article that some like
everything up.
Yeah, enough
so
for
you
me.
could remember.
Yeah,
oh, that's
and
smart.
I just kept it moving. There was so much crap that happened in the the third season that it didn't even make any sense to recap because it was just so crazy. But the season 4 was really good, and I'm on season 5 where they jump like 6 or 7 years forward.
Oh my god! But I hate when shows do that. So they're not in high school.
No, so they graduate high school, they go their separate ways, and then I guess I haven't seen them meet back up again since they graduated high school because I was like, oh, I don't feel like watching them reconnect and all that crap. So that's where I left off at, and that's like season 5. That's like the first. But
then the season finale, they're in high school.
I don't know when they go back in time, dude. I don't know what happens, but they graduate high school. I don't know how they get to the 50s or whatever the hell.
Right.
No idea. No freaking idea.
Are we sure this show was always set in present day?
Yes. They would like you to believe that they isn't set in present day. They do like the craziest stuff. Like everyone has cell phones and they can track people, but then they'll have a TV, like the first ever TV ever invented. They're like, watch this. And I'm like,
first TV model.
The first ever TV. They'll have she's like, oh, I have a car that we can take. Where did she get this car from? It's from the 50s. It's like they just do random stuff. Like their accessories on the show are always old as hell. But it's definitely present day.
Interesting.
It's just so weird. But they're hilarious, but yeah.
Okay, what else? What else do you have?
I finally saw Bottoms.
Oh, where'd you see it? How did you see it?
I saw it at the movie theater.
What movie theater did you have to dig to?
I know. There's only 2 in Baton Rouge that were showing it. And I went to an AMC.
Was it good?
It was so good.
What's it about again? They're lesbians and they're coming out?
So it's definitely like a spoof movie. I knew it was like a comedy movie, but it's not like as spoofy as Not Another Teenage Movie.
Is it a spoof to The Breakfast Club?
No, not like a...
the poster looks very Breakfast Club poster.
No. I mean, I guess they pick on a certain... It's like they're making fun of themselves. They know like... Okay, so what's it about? It's the 2 lesbians, the black girl and the white girl. They start a fight club.
LOL.
Like legit fight club. They fight each other to date these 2 girls in school that they like. And
they start a fight club, and in order to date the 2 girls that they like, they must start this fight club.
Yes, so like it's hilarious. Like they do dumb stuff like that, and like the jocks in the movie are like obviously they're like the most girliest, gayest. Oh. Like so, like I don't know, they do stuff that's like spoofy. It was so funny. I was in there by myself. I was in there. At first, I thought I was going to be in this movie by myself, but there like 2 other people came, so it's like 3 of us. In the whole movie,
there's 3 of us in there, and
I was just like laughing. It was so funny, and it was like it wasn't serious at all. It was a little bit more than a comedy because they were making fun of, like they were doing stuff. I don't know, they were doing ridiculous stuff. Like at one point, she was in a classroom. There was a football player in a cage. They never addressed it. I don't know. It was just like random stuff.
They never brought it up.
Yeah. Again. Or like there's like in one of the trailers, the guy gets like a love tap, like boom. The football player gets like love tap by a car, and he's in crutches the next day.
Oh, wow.
like it's just like stuff like that. It was hilarious, but I think it's coming to
the streaming platforms
soon at the end of the month. But it was hilarious. I'm so glad I saw it. It's gonna be my new movie.
Okay, I'm gonna have to see it. I do want to see it.
Yeah.
I need to see Barbie first. I've yet to see that.
Well, that one, I think Barbie's coming to Netflix at the end of the month.
Yeah, like literally like tomorrow probably.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited to rewatch Barbie. I, for whatever reason, was stuck on listening to I'm Just Ken.
I haven't heard the song because I've been saving to hear it in the movie.
Oh. You managed to not hear it at all?
I haven't heard the song not once.
Dang, I
mean, who's really playing that?
I was like, one day I was like, I can't get the song out of my head. Let me just play it. And I just kept playing over and over and over. It's actually a really good song.
Interesting. Yeah, I heard it was like on the Billboard charts.
It's a really good song. Yeah. It is. So it's crazy that you avoided it, but I get it. Also, did you watch the VMAs? No, you didn't.
No, it was on. So, first of all, since when are award shows
on a Tuesday?
On a Tuesday? What a random day.
I could have.
Why would they put that on a Tuesday?
I was like, oh, I was looking yesterday. I was like, oh, when are the VMAs? Because I know it's coming up, and it was like today, and I was like, okay, because usually like a Thursday, right? A Friday.
I don't know, but I think a Tuesday just sounds so completely absurd.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Also, I literally got home from practice and I was just scrolling on Twitter and I just kept on seeing all this talk about it. I was like, no way this happened today because it's freaking Tuesday.
It was random. It was kind of weird. They had a lot of performances. Like a crazy amount of performances.
Don't they always have performances at these awards?
But literally, they had performance. Like,
I feel like that's how
Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion performed, and then immediately after, here comes Demi Lovato on stage. She's performing. They had back-to-back performances. They did so many performances, they barely had any awards.
But they probably didn't have a host, though.
Nicki Minaj allegedly was the host.
Allegedly.
Like, she was like, I can't believe they let me host this. Like, she posted something on Instagram about it. And she spoke in the beginning. Then she spoke at the end.
Well, probably because, they probably had to fill it up with all those performances because of the writer's strike, and they probably didn't have anybody to write anything.
Oh, that's a good point. Because she was not a host.
Hosting.
She was not hosting at all.
What was she really going to say without a written script?
Well, apparently she got up there and she was like, MTV was, I don't know if you heard that, like, MTV was afraid what I was going to say.
I would be afraid of... Well, if you're afraid of what she's going to say, why hire her for the hosting gig?
And she was like, don't worry, MTV, I'm going to be my best behavior, something like that. I can control myself.
She's very hard to like.
Yeah, I guess they were afraid that she was going to say something about Nicki and Cardi B. Because,
Megan Thee Stallion?
Oh, sorry, Megan and Cardi B. Yeah.
Probably. She
doesn't like them.
I feel like she's very difficult.
She's weird. Because I feel like, I don't know, she seems like she could be nice, but it's like, why do you hate
everybody?
Yeah.
Like, you literally have beef with every single person you've ever encountered in life. And at this point, it's like, you're the common denominator. Look inward.
Yeah, she's a little off. But people love her.
Some do.
Yeah.
Anywho, what else do we have?
That's all I've seen.
I do want to speak about one show that I watched or started watching that I probably won't finish. Sad note, I haven't finished watching Zoe 101, so I can't give anybody an update on that film. Sorry. Maybe one day. But I went to Boston over Labor Day weekend. To visit my friend Carmen. And we were watching Painkiller that's on Netflix. It's about the opioid epidemic.
Oh, how was that?
Didn't finish it, but really good.
With the girl from Orange is the Black, the black girl?
The who girl?
The black girl from Orange is the Black.
Crazy Eyes.
Yeah,
yeah. She's on there. Really, really good stuff.
Was it? I didn't want to watch it because I was like, this seems like too serious for my...
I mean, it was, but it was still like enjoyable to watch. I was like, oh my God.
What's her is her character pushing the pills or she's trying to stop the pill pushing?
No, I don't know if she like what agency she works for. I don't know if it's like the FBI, the CIA, but she's like one of them.
Okay.
And she's like trying. She like kind of like notices it before it happens.
Okay.
Because she was, grew up during the crack epidemic, and she's seeing the parallelism.
Yeah.
The parallelisms.
Parallels.
Only difference that this is white people. Right. I don't think they haven't really mentioned that yet. I was like, when are we going to mention that this really only affected white people? And no one cared this much when it was happening on black people during the crack epidemic.
Right. They didn't care because they started it.
Right.
Government, we're looking at you.
But yeah, it's really good. If you get a chance, check it out. Oh my goodness. Did you hear?
Wait.
Did you hear the news?
Oh, I don't know. How do I guess?
Literally, what's going on with that 70s show in Hyde?
Oh yeah. I mean, right.
What's his name? First of all,
Danny.
Some of the D. Daniel Makapa.
Like, what did you know he was accused of rape at all?
I remember him. First of all, I knew he was a Scientologist. He's in Scientology, everybody. Once again, if you haven't seen Going Clear on HBO, definitely watch it. And then follow it up with Leah Remini's show.
Any episode. Click on one. Dive in.
Called Leah Remini, Scientology, in the Aftermath.
His name is Danny Matterson.
Danny Matterson. Never knew his name.
Masterson.
I remember him being Me Too'd. I remember that. But just out of nowhere, and I feel like nobody talked about it. I feel like people are talking more about Ashton and Mila Kunis coming in support of him than him being... Like, literally, it was just, like, random. Like, I just saw one article, and I was like, why is nobody talking about this? He got sentenced 30 years.
Oh, I thought that was all on my timeline.
Literally? Really?
I remember when they accused him of rape, but then
it wasn't like breaking news. First of all, I get all my news from Twitter. It wasn't a trending topic when I went and saw it. Like,
I didn't know if it was a trending topic, but it was like, he gets 30 years.
I literally didn't see any of it. The only reason why I found out about it is because people were pissed that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis was defending him.
That's stupid.
And I was like, wait, when did he get 30 years in prison?
Oh yeah,
30 years.
You haven't been on social.
Whoa, bro.
When I heard that, I was like, what did he do? What did he do that he's a high-end Scientologist actor got 30 years? Like, how bad was it?
And they couldn't cover it up.
From forever ago?
Right.
what the hell did he do?
Literally. But I read the article.
I don't think they're telling us yet.
Well, what the article said was, he raped 2 women, and then I think there might have been a third, but I think out of the 2 out of the 3, he drugged the 2 of them.
It had to be some crazy details. But there was a third one. His girlfriend that was also in Scientology. She was the one that they didn't like give her.
Oh, and apparently they were all in Scientology.
Yeah, but I think he had a girl. I think the girlfriend one, they were like,
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, that's too crazy.
30 years
is Hot Donna.
I feel like Harvey Weinstein didn't even get 30 years.
Yeah, he raped a lot of people.
And
over 3 people.
He raped over like 84.
That's right. It has to be something crazy.
There's no way.
It has to be like some R. Kelly type shit he did to those 3 girls.
I feel like we would know. Like what else is there to hide at this point? Like
I don't know. I don't know if they're hiding. I just
court records at this point.
I guess I think we're waiting for some more information.
Maybe
because I think people would have been talking about it right now if they knew the details. That's like I don't know. Like I don't know the details. Like were they younger? Like I want to know what the hell.
It's just so crazy how just so easy you can get canceled because Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, they were already
love tapping on getting canceled when they told people they didn't shower or bathe their children. The black community was.
I think I missed that one.
What? They were like, we don't bathe our children, or we bathe them when they're dirty, or when they ask for it, or something like that.
Of course they do. not when they ask for it. Not when they ask to be showered. That's hilarious.
I kind of feel bad for Mila Kunis because I don't know, she's so young on the show, and I just feel like she just
and I feel like a lot of people now are bringing up the fact that she was so young. I was like, did no one consider this like yesterday or 10 years ago? Yeah. Now because now everyone's like, oh my god, she has Stockholm syndrome. I was like, y'all didn't think that before just because now she's defending this rapist? Y'all didn't think that?
Well, I guess
I was like, the age gap has always existed. I don't know why today it's coming to y'all's like attention and y'all want to throw it in their face now
because
she's always been 10 years younger than him.
I feel like Ashton Kutcher. I know it's not saying
Kutcher.
I feel like he has never done anything terrible. Like he even has an organization that protects, and people are like
sex trafficking, which is so weird to why he would say something like that. And
and I don't know. It's crazy. Is Hot Donna in Scientology too?
Yes.
Yeah, she didn't write it later, which I thought was surprising.
She is a Scientologist as well.
And everyone's like, "Oh, we see why." Whatchamacallit, the head guy was like never hung out with. them.
Why he? Yeah,
and I was like, "That's funny. I didn't know that was the thing. I didn't know they were beefing."
Yeah, he's not in their circle.
I did not know that, and I didn't realize he left the show early. I don't know if I remember that.
You didn't?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I forgot. It's been so long.
He left the show early.
But it's crazy. I want someone.
Before I always thought like, oh, what's his name? Topher Grace. Such a stupid name. I always thought like, oh, Topher Grace isn't in their circle. He must be the problem. But no, they're the problem.
Oh no, yeah, definitely.
All of them are the problem.
If you could be friends with 2 people who are in Scientology, you guys are the problem.
You are definitely the problem.
Jesus, Scientology, please don't come for us.
And then Wilma Valderrama, whatever his name is. He's not that great either because I feel like everyone he dates is always 20 years younger than him. About him.
Yeah.
I just think he's a creep. All of his girlfriends, if you look at the history of all of his girlfriends, are all like 20 years. He dated Demi Lovato.
No, yes, I do remember.
And he dated her when she was like young.
I wonder if she writes that song. She has a song on her new album, and it's like,
because all of them are in their 40s.
And she's like, she writes the song of like, she was like, I'm 30 now, and she's basically saying like, I'm 30 now, and I remember when I was 16, this 30-year-old or however age was dating me. She's like, now that I'm 30 and thinking about how dating a 16-year-old, I'm disgusted. And I wonder who she's talking about. I wonder if it's him.
Gotta be him. Never heard of the song though. But
it's actually a really good song. But it's like basically saying like, now that I'm 30 and you're dating a... Ugh.
Wow, it seems like they're all really shitty.
Yeah.
Dang. I love Ashton Kutcher.
Right.
God, I love Ashton Kutcher.
And
look how he's betrayed us.
And that stupid freaking, I don't know, apology or explanation. I don't know.
Like, I get it. It's your friend, but just shut the hell up.
All right. Just say like, I don't know. That's not how you support somebody. I'd have been like, dude, I will send you money in your thingy, but I think you should go to jail for 30
Dude, he's
years.
not getting out of jail until he's 47. He's not getting out of jail until he's 80.
He'd probably get like off.
I mean, he will. He will. But 30 years?
Right.
That's the rest of his life.
Yep. And he's like, in like the photos I see him like walking out, I'm like, sir, you don't seem distraught.
He's probably thinking he can like still get out of it some kind of way.
Probably. He's been untouched by Scientology for so long.
Right.
And
Where is Shelly? Where is Shelly?
Where is Shelly?
You know,
Miss Gab.
If there is literally any like, if there was ever any question, unsolved mystery, like unsolved like theory to something that someone asked me, like I could give you the answer to it right now, what would it be? It would be, where the hell is Shelly Miscavige?
Where is she?
Is she dead? Who killed her? Where's her body? Like, what the hell?
Yeah, she's either dead or like sedated somewhere.
For those of you who don't know, Shelly Miscavige is the wife to David Miscavige, who is the leader of Scientology, and no one has seen her since 2005.
Damn.
And like,
we're almost in 2025.
No one. There's no investigation. There's no missing persons report.
Yeah. Well, they say like every time they do a wellness check or like. She's fine, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But they like own, I don't know, they own like the police.
Right. They
own
Scientology. Right. It's crazy.
Crazy shit.
Anywho.
That is crazy. Where has he got her locked up? What's he doing to her?
And these celebrities are a part of this.
Scientology is dark.
Crazy.
It's so dark.
Dark religion.
And like, even the fact that he even got charged for raping people in Scientology, because they keep that stuff closed mouth. First they worship the celebrities on top of that fact, and then the fact that because I remember one episode, Leah did an episode on someone in Scientology, like a doctor was raping the people, and then just like no one ever came forward because it just gets
brushed under the rug.
Yeah, it's like its own government.
Yeah,
that doesn't give a hell.
It's literally its own world
and
its own universe. It's so crazy,
and they protect like the higher ups and the people, and it's just crazy that they even got out. It's crazy. It's crazy that the girls in Scientology like got unbrainwashed and was like, whoa, you can't do this. That's crazy enough.
Yeah, good for the
good for them.
Left. I want more Scientology documentaries, please, God. Please.
I want an update.
I want
fun facts of where they are now, because I feel like they keep on saying they're so strong, like in the numbers, but like people also say like there's no one in the churches. So I want updates.
Right.
And how much they owe the government and back taxes.
All that. They don't pay taxes. They're tax exempt.
I know, back taxes. Once they get detaxed, they
lose that tax exemption.
They need to pay something.
They say it. Yeah, Leah Remedy says it all the time. The second they lose that tax exemption, they're out of there, bro. Yeah. They're out of there. They're crumbling. But anywho.
Before we get started, don't forget to rate, subscribe, tell your friends, download. Follow us on Instagram.
Subscribe, review, leave a comment, even if it's a bad comment. No publicity is bad publicity. That brings us to the movie we're doing. Think fairytale. Think mythical creatures. Think amazing film soundtrack. Think animals that can talk. Think princesses. Think short men who are greedy. Think your fairy tales, your favorite fairy tales with a little bit of,
grim.
And that's all I got. That brings us to drumroll, please. I was about to say, please don't spoil the movie.
I don't know what I was about to say. I was like, what am I saying?
Shrek! Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead.
R.I.P. to
the lead singer of Smash Mouth, the one, the only Steve Harwell. Damn. He died some days ago. When was that? Literally?
That was like last week.
That was literally like last Tuesday.
What did he die of?
He had liver failure. Apparently he was an alcoholic. He died September 4th.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Liver failure.
Dang.
Yeah.
How old was he?
56.
Dang. Alcoholism, man.
Throughout most of his life, he struggled with alcoholism.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In 2013, he was diagnosed with
disease.
Something disease. Cardiomyopathy. Some disease that affects the heart muscle.
Oh, no.
Whatever that means.
Poor thing.
Poor thing.
Well, this reviews is for you.
We dedicate this to you, my friend.
The man who made Shrek soundtrack to be what it is today.
Amazing soundtrack. Summary: Once upon a time, in a faraway swamp, there lived an ogre named Shrek, played by Mike Myers, whose precious solitude is suddenly shattered by an invasion of annoying fairy tale creatures. They were all banished from their kingdom by the evil Lord Farquaad. Determined to save their home, but mainly his, Shrek cuts a deal with Farquaad and sets out to rescue Princess Fiona to be Farquaad's bride. Rescuing the princess, however, may be small compared to her deep, dark secret.
What are you doing in my swamp? This is like my most favorite. It's a favorite movie.
It's a great
my favorite movie ever. It's one of my most quotable movies that I have in my repertoire.
Really?
Yeah. I would say Mean Girls, this movie. What's another movie I can quote like the back of my hand?
I feel like I can recite this movie very well, but I don't like quote it throughout my day-to-day
Oh,
life.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
That's what you meant.
Yeah. I'm not like I couldn't play this movie back again.
The film was released May 18th, 2001 by DreamWorks Animation.
Yes.
The film is loosely based on the 1990s children's picture book of the same name by William Steig, whatever. Did not know this was a children's book.
Oh, interesting.
All great movies are. That's
loosely based. I wonder what that story goes.
I mean, it was a children's book, so.
Yeah, no, I just wonder where like.
How yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
like,
don't know.
Like, does he even, like, what's the tie-in? Like, where's that story go?
Probably just a story about an ogre who wants his swamp and he falls in love with a princess, I'm sure. Something like that. It was written by Ted Elliott, Terry Rozzo, and Joel Stillman. Directed by Andrew Adamson and Vicky Jensen.
All right.
Shrek was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay and won the first ever Academy Award for Best Animated Feature.
Tight.
Dope.
The first one ever?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I feel like they made the category just
for
the
Shrek,
movie so it could win. The film's success helped establish DreamWorks Animation as a competitor to Pixar in feature film computer animation. Party.
Amen, I agree.
After buying, so now let's get into the history and whatnot. So after buying the rights, some producer bought it from like Steven Spielberg, because apparently Steven Spielberg had the rights to it, and he wanted to do something a little bit different. I think he wanted it
darker.
No, like I don't know. When I was reading it, they were like animation versus like CGI, and I'm like, what the hell is the difference? I was like, it's all cartoons, but whatever. It's all cartoons if you ask me, but it was all confusing. But Steven Spielberg wanted to do something different. But this guy bought the rights to it, and he wanted Bill Murray to play Shrek and Steve Martin to play Donkey.
Okay, Bill Murray and Steve Martin.
Steve Martin's the dad from Cheaper by the Dozen with the white hair.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see Bill Murray, but not Steve Martin.
No. Donkey.
And then some of the early sketches, shows from like the 90s. Shows like Shrek living in a garbage dump near like a human village.
Okay.
And then also they thought at one time that he should live with his parents.
No.
And keep rotting fish in his bedroom.
No.
Yes. Donkey was modeled after a real miniature donkey. Whereas Fiona wasn't based on any real person, and over 100 drawings and sculptures of her were done before the directors chose the final design.
Oh, interesting.
Then Nicolas Cage was initially offered the role of Shrek, but he turned it down because he did not want to look like an ogre. It's a cartoon. So
maybe that was when Steven Spielberg had it? Because that's the CGI?
No, I think he's just crazy.
You know what? That makes sense why he didn't agree to this movie, because he does crappy movies. So it would only be right if he denies this movie.
Yeah, that's true. And then in 2013, Cage explained furthermore.
Okay.
When you're drawn in a way, it says more about how children are going to see you than anything else. And I so care about that.
Interesting.
Sure.
Do you think they were going to draw him in ogre form? Maybe there was confusion.
Maybe he thought they were going to take his face and like make it look like an ogre. I don't freaking know. He's weird. Like
he's so weird.
Reading that just annoyed me when I read it. I was like, I can't stand these men in Hollywood. They're so extra. So then Chris Farley,
Yes,
as some may know, was cast as the voice for the title character Shrek and recorded most of the dialogue, like about 90% of it was complete, but died in 1997.
I didn't know he recorded 90%
before his work on the film was finished.
R.I.P. I really wish we could have got more. There's
this thing.
You can find footage of him.
Yeah, you can, but that's not what I was gonna say. You can find like footage of him or audio of him, like, you know, citing the lines and stuff, and it's like very interesting to think like, okay, this could have been him.
Yeah,
and he doesn't do like the accent either, and it's just like, wow, this is crazy.
It's crazy, right?
But no, what I was gonna say is, there's like this special on A&E or something like that they did on him, and all the people from like Saturday Night Live was on there talking about him. And then, you know, him and David Spade, you know, the little short, skinny one that he used to do those movies with.
Yeah.
He was on it, and he said, I don't know why this resonated with me. I was like, oh my God, this sucks so sad.
I wonder if you're about to say the same thing that I'm about to thinking about.
He said, there's not a day goes by that I don't think of him. And he says, I know there will never be a day go by when I don't think of him.
I know.
I was like, oh my God, that's so sad.
I thought you probably watched the same. You must have watched it at the same time.
I saw the commercial. I didn't actually watch it.
I watched some of it, and it was just saying how he was like really like he loved his dad, and how like he wanted to be like him. And I think he said they said he gained weight because his dad was a big man. He gained weight to be like similar to his dad. I thought it was so sweet. I can't remember if his dad dies before him. I think he was very upset about that, but I could be making that part up. But I know he was like really in love with his dad. I know, so sad.
That's really sad. But every time I see David Spade, I always think about how he misses Chris Farley.
Right,
so
that's his bestie.
And he's like, there's not a day that goes by where I don't think of him. I'm like, oh my God, that's so sad.
What did he die of?
Alcoholism or something like that, or an overdose. No, overdose.
Yes,
he was on drugs.
All the good ones die young.
Mm-hmm. Such a shame. So yeah, la 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 la. Then he died. R.I.P. And then Mike Myers was hired to replace him, and then he also gave Shrek a Scottish accent.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
He chose that because it's Shrek Scottish. Because in my head, Shrek was always like Scottish, but now that you're saying like they originally thought he was going to be by a dumpster in the city, and I was like,
yeah, because it's like, why would he have a Scottish accent?
Just hilarious.
But it's just like, yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Like, yeah, sure.
Why I don't know. Not? He even dresses kind of Scottish. I don't know. It gives me like, I don't know. It gives me like.
But I guess like when you think of like
ogres,
no,
or it's
like fairy tales, they shouldn't talk like regular. They should have a little,
a little sat,
like a little some sort of medieval accent of sorts, and Scottish makes sense.
That is so crazy. He got through 90%.
But then I also read that he initially didn't do it with a Scottish accent, and then he asked to go back. And they were like done, and then he was like, I want to do it he was like, I want to do it all over again. Let's do it with a Scottish accent. And they're like, what? They're like, he's like, yeah, come on. Apparently that cost like $4 million.
Yeah, they're like,
thing.
What? We had to restart once.
Yeah.
Now we have to restart again. But great choice. He was like, guys,
it was worth it.
I wonder how long that would have taken.
Girl, who knows?
I mean, the animation's done. We just need him to talk.
Then I don't know how to pronounce this woman's name. Janae Garofalo, Garofalo, whatever, was set to star along Farley as Princess Fiona. However, she was fired from the project for unexplained reasons. Ooh. Years later, Garofalo stated, I was never told why I was fired. I assume it was because I sound like a man sometimes. I don't know why. Nobody told me. But, the movie didn't do anything, so who cares? I think she was being sarcastic.
Oh.
The movie is literally one of like...
Wait, who? Do you know who this actress is?
If you saw a picture of her, you would recognize her. Let me list her recognizable work.
Oh, yes. Mystery Men. Have you ever seen Mystery Men? Yeah, yes. She's in that. That's might be the one thing.
That's about the biggest one.
And she's in Ratatouille. She must be the female cook, if I had to guess, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah. So Mystery Men, Reality Bites, whatever in Michelle's high school reunion, Wet American Summer, Ratatouille, The Apology.
But she's mostly like a stand-up comedian, I feel like.
I think she was on SNL.
Yeah.
So yeah, she got fired. Poor thing. I feel bad for her. It's always nice when you get fired from a project that does horrible, but when you get fired from a project that like does great, that sucks.
But I also, no offense to her, but she doesn't give me Princess Fiona.
She doesn't. That's probably why she was fired.
Yeah, they're like, they're
probably trying to give it like, you know, like an edgy like thing.
I guess.
Which I could have seen.
Yeah, because when she's like an ogre.
So that's probably like, you know, the standpoint they were trying to do.
They're like, yeah, it's not working.
Box office.
Oh.
No budget. Sorry.
A budget?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you said they 100 million. You made it seem like the rework the first time was 40. They do it twice. 100?
No, not quite.
Too high.
Yes.
60 million.
Oh my God, you were right on the money.
No.
$60 million hairs. Look at you.
Yeah.
Box office.
Oh, $200 million. Is
that is such an insult to the film, and you should really be ashamed of it.
Oh, wow. That's too low?
Yes.
500 million? Is that ridiculous?
$491.8 million. It was.
That's ridiculous amount of money.
Was it the high? It was the fourth highest grossing film of 2001. So, shout out to them.
Yes.
And it put DreamWorks Animation Pictures on the map.
Huzzah!
Okay.
Doctor.
Cast, and then I'm done here. Mike Myers as Shrek.
Do you have anything on how they chose Donkey? No. Dang.
Sorry. Sorry, Eddie. Eddie Murphy as Donkey.
Woo!
Cameron Diaz as Princess Fiona.
Saw.
John Lithgow, whatever, as Lord Farquaad. Vincent Castle as Robin Hood. It's not important. I was like, oh, what about Shrimp? I was like, what about Puss in Boots? But he don't come until the second one.
Yeah.
I forgot about him.
You forgot about Puss in Boots? Goes on franchise now.
That's really all we need to know. Nothing else is really important at this point. So yeah.
Break it down now.
All right. Let's
go ahead and dive in, buddy.
Dive in.
Ooh, I'm about to dive in.
Whoa. I don't know why this. Oh, because Trey Songz, Keke Palmer reminded me. Did you see they got back together?
Oh. I was like, Trey Songz and Keke Palmer?
No, her baby daddy.
Yes, I did.
I was like, who? I mean, like, did anyone really think that they were going to stay broken up?
No, I just needed him to know his place.
Right. And and I hope he realizes it now. I do think they're cute together. I do hope I did want them to work it out.
But I just want him to know, like, don't forget, like, I wanted him to know, like, you can go at any moment now.
Right. And your life will be in shambles and she'll be A-okay.
Yes. So. And she'll be in music videos with Usher.
Right. She'll be in music videos with Usher.
Making fun
while
of you.
You are scraping pennies at the Red Lobster.
Right. They were cute. I'm glad they figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid. Next time, if you have feelings and you're hurt about something, share your emotions with your baby mama and not Twata.
You're right. Not the public.
Because we will drag you.
All right.
I will support. I would like the dragon. So, Shrek. The movie begins with Shrek telling us a fairy tale story from a book about a lovely princess who had an enchantment placed upon her that could only be broken for true love's first kiss. The princess was then locked away in a castle guarded by a dragon, and though many knights attempted to save her, she waited to finally be rescued. Foreshadowing. To which Shrek reads this part and he said, yeah, like that's gonna happen. He rips a page out of the book he's reading and wipes we presume, his butt with it. He gets out the outhouse and All-Star begins playing in the background. Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. That song is playing while we get a montage of Shrek showering with like mud. He's brushing his teeth with like a toothpaste of worms. He's going for a swim. He farts
and
he
then
kills.
all the fish come to surface because they die.
He's spending some time painting, and we see that he painted a sign that says "Beware ogre," that he puts outside his house to keep people away. He's doing all this by himself, and he's really truly enjoying his own company, honey.
Period.
Independent.
Period.
So Shrek's peaceful night is interrupted by a group of townspeople who tried to sneak up on Shrek. But Shrek gets to jump on them and ends up running them out of his swamp.
Yeah, they try to kill him or corral him.
Capture him.
It's like a big mob.
Mm-hmm.
And, it don't work.
Nope.
They
You got the
instantly
pitchforks.
run away from him in terror and fear because he's a big, scary, terrifying ogre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then as they run off, Shrek sees that they dropped a flyer that says "Wanted Fairytale Creatures."
So that's why the townspeople were trying to get him.
Yes, but Shrek thinks nothing of it and goes about his lovely afternoon.
So cut to the next scene. We see somewhere in like the forest, the wilderness, we see these fairy tale creatures and they're all being chained up and carried away somewhere. And we see and meet Donkey. He's in line with his current owner getting ready to be shipped off into a cage with the remaining fairy tale creatures that we see being chained up, and he's begging his owner. He's like, please don't ship me away. I promise I'll be a good donkey. And she's like, shut the hell up. So then when they make their way to the guards, they have to prove that he is in fact a fairy tale creature, and she's like, he can talk. And then the guards is like, okay, prove it. And then she's like, okay, go ahead, talk. Why would you think that boy was gonna start talking?
That was the smartest thing he ever did in his life.
Right. And so he goes silent. He turns into a mute. And then the old lady's like, I swear to God, he can talk. He does it all the time. He won't shut the hell up. And then the guard's like, get her out of my sight. The donkey can't talk. So then she's like hooping and hollering. She's like, no, he can talk. While she's hooping and hollering, she knocks over Tinkerbell, who, sprinkles like fairy
Magic
tail dust onto Donkey, which causes him to fly. And they're all like, oh my God, he can fly. And then Donkey's like, I can fly? And then like, he can talk. And he was like, yeah, I can talk, and I can fly. I'm the most talking, flyingest donkey you ever did see. And then the dust wears off, and then he falls to the ground.
Very quick. You know what I would like to see? A donkey needs his own movie. Final, period. But I would like to see a donkey or origin story. How can this man talk? And I want to see his love story with his dragon.
I don't think we need an origin story as to why he can talk.
I would love it.
The ogre talks. The cat talks.
Well, the ogre is an animal. It's a beast.
The donkey's an animal.
But there's donkeys that can't talk.
There's cats that can't talk.
No, well, in this, you're right. So how does the cat know how to talk? But I feel like all ogres know how to talk.
I mean, like, you're like, okay, Puss in Boots talks, though.
Well,
we don't need an origin story in how Puss in Boots learned how to talk. We don't need it.
Puss is one of the only. Well, I don't know if you've seen his movie.
I haven't.
Yeah, okay. So he's the only one that talks in his. I don't know. He just he just hangs out with humans. He kind of just hung out with humans, and that's kind of how I get
who can talk.
Yeah, but I don't know. I want to see. I want a donkey movie. I don't know where they would take it, but origin movie or him and his lover.
I guess that's a fair question. I'm more curious to see as to how him and the dragon make it work. Because how do they have relations?
Don't you worry about that, you nasty girl.
All right. So Donkey falls to the ground, and they're like, seize him, because now they can see that he is in fact a fairy tale creature, and they're collecting fairy tale creatures. So he goes on the run. He's scurrying through the forest, trying not to get caught, and then he bumps into Shrek, who is putting up signs to tell people stay out of his swamp.
It's like beware ogre.
Beware ogre.
Me.
Keep out.
Keep out.
Swamp. Mines.
Ooh, the first person to be like, beware me. Don't come in here. I live over here. So Donkey runs into him, and he takes this moment to hide behind Shrek. And the guards try to not only capture Donkey, but Shrek, since he is a fairy tale creature, but Shrek is also an ogre, and the guards are terrified and they run off. Donkey, at this point, begins to compliment Shrek. Oh wow, you really scared them back there. You're mean talking fighting machine, something like that. And Donkey comes up with a bright idea. You know what? Since I don't have friends, I should stick with you. And Shrek is like, huh? I should stick with you because you a mean fiend fighting the green. Us together, we can fight off everybody. Something like that. And at this point, Shrek tries to scare off Donkey. This always works for him. But Donkey's like, wow, that's amazing. So he's not scared off by his anger. He's actually impressed. And Shrek is Shrek is used to not being, people being around him. He is surprised that Donkey is very talkative, and Donkey continues to follow him home. And he's like, oh, this is new for me, because people just run when they see me.
They continue to walk, and then eventually they make it to Shrek's home, and Donkey is still following behind him. And once they make it to Shrek's swamp, Donkey's like, oh, this place is hideous, disgusting. And then Shrek is like, this is my home. And he's like, you know what? That boulder, that is a nice boulder. I see what you did with the place. I see what you did with that. I like it. I like it a lot. And then Shrek is like, okay, I've had enough. I'm going inside. And then Donkey's like, well, what about me? And he was like, nothing about you. Like, you don't live here. We're not friends. I don't know you. Stay outside. Keep out. And so that's kind of what he do.
Shrek allows him to stay the night, but you gotta sleep outside. Don't bother me. So that night, Shrek makes himself an ogre-style dinner with ogre stuff like worms and crab and mud, all for himself.
And he seems really at peace with his little,
does.
his night in by himself with his dinner and his wine and his fire. He just seems at peace and content
He don't
with
seem bothered.
his solitude.
Exactly. But his dinner's interrupted by the 3 blind mice who are running around his table looking for food, blind as a bat. And Shrek's like, what are y'all doing here? And they were like, we can't go anywhere else. This is our new home. And then before Shrek can ask them any more questions, Snow White's dwarves put her body on top of their dinner table. And they were like, I'm sorry, the bed was taken. Shrek runs into his bedroom to find the big bad wolf.
And so he gets all of them, he grabs them, he picks them up, and he's like, get out of my house, get out of my swamp. I'm a terrifying ogre. I need to be left alone. And so once he goes outside to throw them out, he sees that his entire swamp has been infiltrated with fairytale creatures. I mean, they're everywhere. There's witches, there's the one who does the flute? Who attracts the Pied Piper. We see the Pied Piper. We see everybody. Everybody's in there.
Pinocchio's out there.
Literally every fairy tale creature that you can imagine. And he's like, oh, hell no.
Right, what the hell?
How did y'all get up in here? And then the 3 blind mice inform him that, hey, it was Lord Farquaad. He huffed, he puffed, and then he sent everybody an eviction notice. So everyone has, I don't know why.
What?
Like, what's your beef with fairy tale creatures? Like, why must they go? Like, I don't get it.
Oh, Lord Farquaad.
Like, I just don't get the rationale behind it.
Maybe he just wants like normal people.
Yeah.
You know how people are.
I guess
they
don't like different people.
Yeah,
yeah, they don't like people who are different. So he sent all the fairy tale creatures to a relocation.
They relocated.
He relocated all the fairy tale creatures, and that location just so happens to be Shrek's swamp. And he's pissed. And he's like, okay, so who is this Lord Farquaad guy? And they start telling him, and he's like, you know what? He's talking, he's giving the speech, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to go find this Lord Farquaad guy, and I'm going to get y'all's land back so y'all can get the hell off my land. And then they're all like cheering, hooray, hooray, yay, 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 yay. And he's like, ugh. Shut up, leave me alone. And then so he's like, and Donkey, you're coming with me. So they embark on the journey to go check up on Lord Farquaad.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. So cut to, we see a castle, and we finally meet Lord Farquaad, who's interrogating a gingerbread man. They're like, instead of like waterboarding him, they're like milk boarding him, and like his legs are cut off. So it's like some serious torture.
Right. And then they start saying something about the Muffin Man. The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man. She's married to the Muffin Man.
So Lord Farquaad's interrogating
We don't even know what information he's even getting out of him.
He's trying to get out where the rest of the fairy tale creatures are, and I think he was trying to say that the Muffin Man's wife is hiding them or something like that.
Oh.
But it was like weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
They just threw it there.
So he's interrogating and torturing the poor little... Not the the gingerbread man. But then, while in the middle of his interrogation, one of the guards comes in and they tell him, my lord, we found it. And he's like, oh my God, great, bring it in. What they're bringing in is a mirror.
A magic mirror.
Think the mirror in like Snow White. The mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. So the mirror talks. So he brings in the mirror. They take off the cloak that's on the mirror, and Lord Farquaad addresses the mirror, and he's like, "Magic mirror, I want to be king."
No, he's like, "Magic mirror, am I the greatest king in all of land?" or something like that.
Oh, and then the magic mirror is like, "Well, you're not a king." And
said-
then he's like, "Excuse me?" And then the magic mirror was like, "Okay, well, not just yet. In order to be a king, you have to marry a princess."
Yes.
And then Lord Farquaad is like, "Okay, go on." And then he's like, "Well, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, my lord, because now we're like,
I got some bachelors for you.
I got some bachelorettes for you." And now it's turned into like that 1970s dating game show.
Right.
Like, what is it? Match date?
Matchmakers?
Guess who? Guess date? Whatever.
One of those.
One of them, matchmaking dating shows from the 70s. So then the magic mirror shows him a list of eligible bachelorettes / princesses that Lord Farquaad has the opportunity to marry. First, we see Cinderella.
Mm-hmm.
Bachelorette number 1 is a mentally abused shut-in from a kingdom far, far away. She likes sushi and hot tubbing anytime. Her hobbies include cooking and cleaning for her 2 evil sisters. Please welcome Cinderella. Bachelorette number 2 is a cape-wearing girl from the land of fancy. Although she lives with 7 other men, she's not easy. Just kiss her dead, frozen lips and find out what a live wire she is. Come on, give it up for Snow White. And last, but certainly not least, Bachelorette number 3 is a fiery redhead from a dragon-guarded castle surrounded by hot, boiling lava. But don't let that cool you off. She's a loaded pistol who likes pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. Yours for the rescuing, Princess Fiona!
And then so they're like, the magic mirror is like, "Okay, which one will it be, my lord? Bachelorette number 1, Bachelorette number 2, or Bachelorette number 3?
Number 3, my lord.
You hear people going, "Number 1, number 2, number 3, my lord, number 3. And then Lord Farquaad ultimately picks Bachelorette number 3, which is Princess Fiona.
If you like pina coladas
And getting caught in the rain.
lucky her. She gets to
Lucky
be
her.
his princess.
But after he makes his selection, the magic mirror tries to warn him of something, but he's like, not trying to hear it.
Yeah.
He's like, "That's enough. Don't worry. I don't care."
I get it.
And then he's like, "Well, you should know after midnight." He's like, "Stop talking. I really don't care." But, I never realized until after, like, maybe, like, the 80th time I saw this movie that the magic mirror even tried to tell him that
he's
she
like,
turns into an ogre.
He's like, "At night she does," and he's like, "Ah, da, 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 da."
I never noticed that.
I feel like the magic, he should have that in his speech.
Yeah, that should have been part of the...
But, or just be like, she has a little spell.
Yeah,
that
like,
happens
she
on her
likes pina coladas getting caught in the rain, and at sunset she turns into a terrifying ogre.
Exactly. Like, you should put that in the description, because I think...
Like, that's literally her character.
Right, I don't think he would have chose her.
Yeah.
I don't think that would have happened.
We would have had a different story here.
Right. It's funny, he also could have chosen Snow White, because he would have to kiss her for her to be alive, and... he truly doesn't love her. So that wasn't going to work out either. So Cinderella would have probably been his best
only
bet.
option?
Yeah.
What about Sleeping Beauty? Wait.
Sleeping Beauty.
He got to kiss both of them at Sleeping Beauty and Snow White?
Snow White is sleeping. Why? And what happens to sleeping?
Snow White eats the apple. And then Sleeping Beauty, like, pricks her finger.
Yeah. You would have to kiss both of them.
But you got to kiss both of them? Both of them need to be kissed to wake up?
Yeah.
By love's
By true love's first kiss.
Interesting.
Right. A common thread for these films.
These fairy tales.
Kiss me while I'm not awake.
So then, the next morning, we see the next morning Shrek and Donkey, after their journey, they arrive at Lord Farquaad's castle, which is Duloc, which looks like an amusement theme park.
Yes. There's a line to get in there. There's a
line. There's like
mascot
people. Yeah, there's people in like mascot costumes that are like in the form of Lord Farquaad. It's just really weird. But they make their way in, but for whatever reason, there is no one there. Like, they don't see anyone.
crickets.
And Then Shrek and Donkey, they make their way up to this like little box, right? And it's like it says like press here or something like that. And they press it, and then there's just like this machine that starts this like jingle.
This is. But it basically tells them like rules of like Dulag and why it's such a clean and perfect place, and follow these rules. And at the end of the song, it takes a picture of them. They're like, huh? But Donkey likes it. Shrek doesn't. And then Shrek is like, come on, let's continue our journey. So they find all the townspeople and Lord Farquaad in a coliseum. That's what you call it when people fight. Lord Farquaad. What?
That's when you call them when people fight.
Yeah, because I was like Googling. I was like, what do you call this? Lord Farquaad.
I read it and I was like, I'm so surprised she put the word Coliseum.
I was like, what? Because I was like, what is this word?
I was like, I would have thought you'd have put something way more simpler. I was like,
yeah, but I was trying to find the
arena or like common area or something.
It wasn't, but it's like it's a Coliseum.
Yeah, it was a Coliseum.
Yeah.
So yeah, they make their way into the Coliseum and they see Lord Farquaad, and he has organized the entire village to come witness. He's giving this speech and saying that he is sending the Duloc Knights onto a quest to find Princess Fiona. Oh, we failed to mention that Princess Fiona is locked up in a tower, guarded by a fire-breathing dragon. Mm-hmm. So,
just like the story told in the beginning of the book.
Yes.
The movie, I mean. But yes, foreshadowing. So we see Lord Farquaad. He's hosting this tournament, and he's like, whoever wins gets the privilege of rescuing Fiona.
Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Yes,
says Lord Farquaad.
Exactly. The one who's not going to go on this quest to get his bride. He will send other people to do it. So at this moment, Shrek and Donkey come in. They walk in front of everybody, and the townspeople and Lord Farquaad are appalled by the hideous nature of Shrek and Donkey. Disgusting.
Like, oh my God, it's hideous.
Who let the losers in?
And then Shrek is like, it's just a donkey.
Right. And then Lord Farquaad is like, okay. Shrek says something, and Lord Farquaad is like, okay, new rule. Whoever kills Shrek and his donkey gets to wins the tournament and gets to go die somewhere else.
You will be crowned champion.
So,
he says.
The knights and whoever try to kill Shrek and Donkey, and a fight breaks out. There's like a brief wrestling match, and while Shrek and Donkey are kicking these knights' booties, the crowd is starting to become on their side. They're like, whoa,
the crowd's going wild.
Entertainment.
They didn't sign up for this show, but they're getting one.
Yes,
they're getting a show.
Yes. So
so after Donkey and Shrek kick all the knights' butts. Lord Farquaad is basically like, okay, like, what do you want? And Shrek is like, I want you to get rid of all those fairytale creatures that you dumped on my land.
Right.
And he was like, your land, huh? And Shrek is like, yeah, my land, my swamp. I want them gone. And then Lord Farquaad is like, okay, ogre. Look, I'll give you your land back if you go to this castle over this volcano where this dragon is, fire breathing and Horton Princess Fiona. If you go get her and bring her to me, then you can have your swamp back. And then Shrek's like, okay, deal.
Babe.
So now they've got a new journey done.
Right, adventure part 2.
So Shrek and Donkey, they make their way out. They've made their bet. Well, not their bet. Their wager. Not their wager.
They made their deal.
Their deal. Their deal with Lord Farquaad, and they're on their way.
So now Shrek and Donkey are on their new quest to rescue Fiona, so Shrek can get his swamp back. And while they begin this journey, they get a little more personal. And Donkey asks Shrek, why didn't he try to scare Lord Farquaad into getting what he wanted? Because that's usually what it does. And Shrek tells him that that's not always what I want to do. Ogres have layers, and it's not always just bloodshed all the time. And I have different. Sometimes I'm angry, sometimes I'm sweet. I'm a multifaceted person.
I have layers.
And
layers.
Donkey's not
like onions.
Yes. like onions. And Donkey's not understanding. He's like, what? Layers, onions? And Shrek is like, just leave me alone, okay? No one understands me. I am a one-man wolf pack. So then we get another montage of their travels, and they slowly, finally ascend on the outside of Fiona's castle, which...
Surrounded by lava. God, can you imagine being stuck up there?
No.
How does she eat?
How does she eat? Is the dragon on her side?
Right.
What, like, is it like her pet?
Dragon friend.
Yeah, because it's like...
Or do her... You know, when I was watching the movie, I was... And you... Because, you know, Shrek and Donkey ultimately become best friends.
Yes.
You know, so now... Then the dragon becomes Donkey's wife. Fiona becomes Shrek's wife. And I was just like, what's the dynamic between the two wives? I was like...
That's
because if you really
story.
think about it, she had her locked up in a tower.
They know each other for their whole lives.
Her whole life. So are they friends or does Fiona utterly hate her?
Are they foes?
Yeah.
What's that dynamic there?
What's the dynamic there?
Did they talk?
They talk. Are they cool now? Do they let bygones be bygones?
Right.
Or were they always friends because they had like a, like a history? Or
I wonder
Like what?
if, Dragon also has a spell placed on her. And she can't leave this place until Fiona finds her love.
These are the questions.
These are the questions. Because, like, why else would a dragon just stay there? Like,
right.
You could have this whole world, but you want to stay in this shitty little castle.
Right.
So maybe, like, she has a spell placed on her, and she's like, you're connected. You're all connected.
Maybe so.
But they don't know.
We don't know, people.
So many questions.
We don't know. In order to get from like one cliff to the cliff that the castle's on, you have to cross this long, very rickety, not structurally sound bridge that's made out of wood.
Wood over lava.
I don't know how it hasn't melted yet. And of course, Donkey's petrified. He's like, Shrek, I can't do this. Absolutely not. And then Shrek is like, relax, Donkey, it's fine. Like, let's just do it. And he's like, Shrek, no. Like, I can't do this. Look at where we are. Absolutely not. And then so Shrek forces Donkey to like make its way across the bridge without him really knowing that he's walking across the bridge. And, he gets across the bridge.
Yeah, I think
safe and sound.
Good job, Donkey.
And he tells him, good job, Donkey. That'll do.
That'll do, Donkey. That'll do.
So now,
that's something I quote all the time.
That'll do, Donkey. That'll do. That's a good one. So they've crossed the bridge. They enter the castle. Of course, Donkey is still scared. He's asking Shrek all these questions. Blah, 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 blah.
What a dragon at?
He's like, where's the dragon? La, la, la. And then Shrek tells Donkey to find some stairs in the highest tower because that's where Princess Fiona will be. And then Shrek says he will go find the dragon.
Defeat it! But unfortunately for Donkey, he finds the dragon first. And when the dragon sees Donkey, it starts to blow out some fire. Shrek comes to the rescue. And then Shrek and Donkey are trying to run away from the dragon. The dragon's trying to attack Donkey. Shrek is trying to stop the dragon from attacking Donkey, to which the dragon throws Shrek up into a room in a very high part of the castle. And then we see that he falls into Princess Fiona's room. Princess Fiona pops up, sees Shrek, thinking, it's her knight in shining armor coming to rescue her. And then she goes back to pretending to be asleep. And Shrek hasn't even noticed her yet. He's still, on the floor recovering from being thrown 500 feet in the air. But then Shrek eventually gets up. He makes his way to Fiona. He looks at her and he shakes her up. Violently. Shakes her awake. And she's like, hey, relax. And then he's like, hey, look, I'm coming to rescue you. And, there's no charm. There's no charisma. There's no romance. Mm-mm. And she's like, whoa. This is not how this goes. Right. Like, don't you want to know my name? What's your name? Shouldn't you be kissing me right now? And he's like, we don't have time for this. Right. And he's like, let's go. And she's like, this is just not how these things are done. And he's like, sweetheart, I'm not conventional. Okay? Let's go. But before Shrek leaves with Fiona, he goes to rescue Donkey. who is in a room alone with Dragon, and he's basically trying to fight off Dragon, who apparently is a girl dragon, and she's doing all these like sexual advances to Donkey. She like really has a liking for Donkey.
So yeah, so at first like she's trying to kill him, but then Donkey in like survivor mode is just spitting out compliments to the dragon. He's like, "Oh my god, your teeth are so beautiful."
Oh, beautiful.
And then she's like, "Oh my god, thank you."
Me? Who?
And then she starts batting her eyelashes, and he's like, "What's wrong with your eye?" And then Donkey's like, "Oh wait, you're a girl.
You're a girl dragon.
You're a girl dragon." And he's like, "I mean, of course you're a girl dragon. You're so stunning and you're so beautiful and gorgeous." And she's like, "Oh my god, keep the compliments coming."
Love that.
And he's like, "And your breath is just so hot and fiery." And then now she's into him.
Yes.
You give a dragon who hasn't had any, male suiters
Right.
for,
It's
upward
always-
of like 500 years.
It's always Fiona. But what about me?
What about me?
Yeah.
What about dragon? What about dragon?
Mm.
So now, here you are, Donkey, giving her
Right.
attention. And of course, she's going to pick up what you're putting down.
Exactly. So Shrek interrupts this romantic, thing that the dragon's having.
Donkey's not really into
He's
her.
not-
He's
he's
just
not-
putting on a show
he's not
so
really
she
into
won't
it.
eat him.
He playing a little hard to get.
Right.
So Shrek breaks in. Once again, a fight ensues. Shrek grabs Donkey. He grabs Fiona. They run around the castle trying to fight off the dragon. And they make it across the bridge just in time for it to break. And somehow they have got a chain around the dragon's head so that it can't like fly too far from the castle, and it's like stuck there. And Dragon, Fiona, and Donkey safely make it away from this fire castle, this hell castle, if you will. So once safely away from the castle, Fiona is ecstatic, to finally not be locked up in a castle, and she goes to thank Shrek and Donkey, and then now she asks Shrek to remove his helmet so that she can give him, this.
So
the
she
kiss.
can thank her rescuer.
You know what's so funny?
He's like, what?
She probably really wanted to kiss him also too, to just break the spell right then and
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I never thought about like
that's
that.
Definitely what she wanted to do.
I never thought about that. I thought she was just like, this is what we were supposed to do. But I mean, that is what we're supposed to do. It's supposed to like, you're supposed to save me. We're supposed to kiss, spell over.
In her situation, that's what they're supposed to do in order for her curse to be broken.
Right.
So yeah, that's definitely what you wanted.
She said, using him.
So she's like, yeah, remove the helmet so I can see you. And then so he removes the helmet, and of course she is highly disappointed to find out that he's an ogre.
Oh no.
And she's like,
Oh no. Why, God?
you're an ogre.
Lord
And he's
Jesus, save
like,
me.
yeah. And then he's like, I guess I'm not what you're expecting. And she's like, well, no.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, this isn't right. You can't be an ogre. This is not how it's supposed to go. And, you as a viewer, you don't know why she's freaking out that bad. But,
You're just thinking, because who wants to be an ogre?
who wants to be an ogre?
As a
But
human.
she's freaking out for other reasons. Like, she's losing her shit. She's like, oh, my God. And then he's like, look, lady, calm down. I'm not even interested in you like that. The reason why I'm out here is because Lord Farquaad sent me here to get you. And then she's like, okay, so why is Lord Farquaad not here to do it himself? Why did he send you? And he's like, because he's like 5 feet tall. And then she's like, well, if he wants to come see me, he can come pick me up right here. And Shrek's like, look, sweetheart, I'm not a messenger boy. I'm a delivery boy.
I'm no one's messenger boy.
And then he picks her up, he puts her on her shoulder, and he's like, we're out of here. And she's like, put me down. He's like, no, duh. Of course not. Of course he's not going to put you down. You're precious cargo. He needs to get his swamp back.
Right. So Fiona eventually calms down. Shrek is still carrying her. But Donkey takes this time to, ask her questions about love because he's got this, situation going on with the dragon. So
and he's like, so what do you do when a girl who you're not really super into you, but you don't, know how to break it to her because you don't want to turn into like, barbecue.
Mm.
And then Fiona just says, you just tell her that she's not your true love.
True love. She'll understand for sure. Hell no, she won't.
She'll eat him.
Yes. So at this point, Shrek is like, okay, let's take a break. And Fiona realizes that Shrek has plans to continue traveling during the night in order for them to make it to Duloc by morning. At this, Fiona freaks out. oh hell no, we gotta stay here for the night. I can't be there's robbers in the woods, like this is not safe. I don't want to keep traveling. And at first Shrek is like, haha, I'll be fine, I'm an ogre, let's keep going. And then Fiona yells at them and they're like, okay, fine, we'll find a camp for you to sleep in tonight.
So then they go and find like a nice little rock situation area. And she,
Cave.
makes a makeshift door out of some wood. And she says, great, this will be fine. And then so she goes into her room, quote unquote, and, she goes to sleep.
I said goodnight. Now that's one I quote all the time.
Yeah, that's a good one. I said goodnight.
Because Donkey tries to get in there. She's like, I said goodnight. So Fiona is fast asleep in her little makeshift room. I'm sure she's an ogre at this point. And Shrek and Donkey are laying outside, looking at the stars. And Shrek is telling Donkey about what this little star mashup means, and what this star mashup means, and telling him all the stories. And then
he's telling him stories of ogres.
Yes. And at this point, Shrek confides in Donkey about his frustration with being feared and rejected by others over his appearance.
I'm not the one with the problem, okay? It's the world that seems to have a problem with me. People take one look at me and go, help, run! A big, stupid, ugly ogre. They judge me before they even know me. That's why I'm better off alone.
Which is why he tries to push people away and keep people out, and why he puts up signs. He doesn't want friends, because whenever people see him, they're just like,
terrified of him.
In order to avoid that, that feeling of people rejecting you, you reject them first.
This movie's just all about therapy.
Yeah.
Everyone just needs to go to therapy.
Yeah, hurt people. And then Donkey tells him that, when I first met you, I didn't think you were a stupid, ugly ogre, and I wasn't afraid of you. And Shrek is like, I know you didn't. And then while they're talking and have this heart-to-heart, Fiona is actually awake. And she overhears this. And then she kind of feels bad for Shrek. And, and you can kind of see that she's going to be nice to him from now on.
And then the next morning, so after Shrek and Donkey have had their little heart-to-heart, their bonding moment, Fiona, she wakes up and she cooks Shrek and Donkey breakfast. She cooks them some eggs. To which she killed their mother during a sing-off.
Their mother?
During a sing-off. Her and the bird was singing Who Could Sing Higher.
The bird explodes.
The bird explodes. She takes the bird's eggs and then she cooks them.
Ouch.
So Fiona apologizes to Shrek for how she reacted and how she behaved, and she felt or feels as if the two of them had gotten off on the wrong foot.
That's right, girl.
And today's a new day. Let's try a different approach.
Yeah.
And Shrek's kind of like, oh,
this is new.
Okay, sure. Whatever you say.
He's like, 2 people being nice to me?
Right.
That's wild.
And then so after breakfast, the three continue their adventure. There. And while they're walking, Fiona burps very loudly, aggressively, like a man. An ogre, if you will.
Ooh.
And Shrek's like, okay, where did that come from?
Okay, work, bitch.
And Shrek kind of says, you're not exactly what I expected. And then Fiona then says, well, you shouldn't judge people before you get to know them. And then so while they're walking, Fiona is snatched up by a man who turns out to be Robin Hood. And Robin Hood snatches Fiona and tells her that he is rescuing her from this hideous ogre. And then Fiona, of course, being an independent woman, doesn't need the rescuing. And we are introduced to Robin Hood and his band of merry men. And we are given a song where he introduces himself.
Break it down, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I'm Robin Hood. And he's got like a French accent, which is weird. Because I've never considered Robin Hood to be French.
Is he?
I don't know. Is Robin Hood French?
He's probably like a
Is
French
it set
story.
in France?
Probably. Who knows?
But after his little song, or even, he's not even finished the song.
Like a rap.
Before he could even finish the song, Fiona comes down and she punches him in the face. She's like, oh, God, that was so annoying. And then Donkey and Shrek are like, whoa, where did that come from? And then Robin Hood's band of merry men attack Fiona for, of course, beating up their leader. And then she whips all of their butts. She whips out the karate move. She's like karate chopping them. She's like jumping in the air and she's like freezing and then she's hitting them. Right. And it's like really cool. She's whooping butt. And then she eventually takes out all of the band of merry men.
Yeah, where'd she learn that from?
Girl, I guess she had a lot of free time in that castle, girl.
To learn martial arts.
She had access to YouTube.
You know what I really love about this movie? It's like in the second one, they like we see like how she got there when we meet her parents.
Yeah,
I love this freaking movies.
How did her parents just put her there, huh?
They put her there because, well, see, I guess we don't know so we don't know which witch or whatever put the spell on her. Mm-hmm. But, we finally meet the
fairy godmother.
The fairy godmother.
She did it?
I don't know if she did. But did she? I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't know, but I guess Prince Charming was, supposed to be the prince to get her. But he
never came through. He was late.
Took too long?
Yeah, he took too long. Yeah, because I remember they showed it.
Yeah.
And she was like, he went through like so many villages and blah, 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 blah. And then he got there and like the wolf was there.
Yeah.
And then there was like, where's Princess Fiona? And he was like, she's gone.
She's gone. Have you not heard the story?
Great
I love
movies.
That story.
But I don't want to watch the second one. You know what one is horrible? The third one.
That with the little boy.
Yeah, with Arthur. What the hell was it?
Yeah, it's not the best one.
That was horrible.
It's not the best one.
Horrible.
I'm not too crazy about the Rumpelstiltskin one.
I like it.
Just because I don't like
it's not as good as the first two.
But... Yeah, I just don't like Fiona not knowing him the first half. Like,
that was tough.
Yeah,
it's tough to watch.
It's tough to watch.
It's like, damn,
this love story. But Do the Roar is really amazing.
Do the Roar is really.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you. I love you, Daddy. I love you, Daddy.
I want another one. Yeah. I want another one. I want like two more.
Like I read somewhere that they were trying to make another one, but I was just like, how can you make another one? Because the last one is literally like fair, whatever the hell it's called.
Fair,
whatever. I was like, this really should be the end one.
Yeah. But whatever. I will take an extension. I will take a donkey movie where Shrek is in there a little bit. Give me a donkey movie. Puss in Boots got one.
Yeah.
He was a side character.
They all can't have spin-off story.
Yes, it can.
Okay, so after she's, beat up the gentleman, Shrek and Donkey, especially Shrek, is beyond impressed by her skills.
Yes.
And then, while, he's giving her praises, Fiona notices that he has been struck by an arrow and it is in his butt.
You have an arrow in your butt.
And Shrek is like, I'm fine. And then Fiona's like, no, I have to pull it out. And he's like, no, don't do that. And then she goes to pull it out. Of course it hurts. And he's like, oh my God, stop. And Fiona sends Donkey off to go get some medicine to cure his ailment. And then while she is trying to get the arrow out of his butt, he's still refusing. And then they kind of like fall on top of each other. And, they have that like, oh, I just fell on top of you. And now we're looking lovingly into each other's eyes. So they have a little shared moment.
Mm-hmm. They're falling in love.
And then Donkey comes back and he's like, oh, I see. Am I interrupting something? And
he's like, if you wanted some alone time, you
yanks
just ask
the arrow out of his butt.
Yes. So at this point, they continue their travels, and we see a montage of Shrek and Fiona doing activities together. They're blowing up balloons made out of snakes and frogs, and they're capturing.
They're eating cotton candy made out of spiders, bugs, and spider webs.
Yes, and they're just falling in love, and like they have so much in common. And
I wonder why.
So that's a montage, and then they finally get close enough to Duloc.
It's in the distance. They can see it.
They can see in the distance. And Fiona, who's just not ready to go just yet.
And it's almost sunset.
It is almost sunset. She says that she makes an excuse. She's like, oh, I'm so worried for Donkey. Maybe we should spend the night here so that we can make sure he feels better. And Shrek goes along with it. He's like, oh, yeah, Donkey does look sick. And then Donkey's like, am I dying? And they're like, okay, we don't care about Donkey. And then they decide to cook dinner. Shrek whips up some
rat stew.
And he fries some rats. And Fiona eats that crap up. She's like, no.
She's like, this is delicious.
Delish. So at this point, Shrek offers Fiona, like, if you want to come visit anytime, I can cook you anything. Let's stay in touch. And Fiona's like, of course, I would
like
love that.
I'd like that a lot.
Oh my God. This is so cute. Like, I'm like, Shrek is like, not only, okay, I know, like, at this point, he's like, okay, at least we could be friends, but like someone being nice to him. Could you imagine a princess coming to visit Shrek? It was never going to happen, but
it would never happen. So then after, they shared their dinner together, Fiona is like, it's almost sunset. Gotta go to bed. But then Donkey sees that she and Shrek like each other, and Donkey encourages Shrek to tell her how he feels about her. But Shrek is like, there's no point. She's a princess. I'm an ogre. She's going to marry Lord Farquaad. It's just, there's no sense in it. And Shrek kind of like walks off.
So Donkey later in the night, he enters alone into like the place that Fiona's staying, and he's like looking for Fiona, where are you? And Fiona's hiding, obviously, because by now she's an ogre, and she accidentally like steps on something, she falls, and she gets up, and Donkey sees an ogre, and he's like, oh my God, what did you do with Fiona? Did you eat her? And Fiona's like, shut up, be quiet. And Donkey's like, what did you do to the princess? And Fiona's like, I am the princess. And
then after, a moment of convincing, he does realize that, okay, it does appear that Fiona is underneath all of this.
Yes.
And he's like, what the hell happened to you? And he's like, was it the rat stew? And she's like, no,
babe.
I am cursed. And he's like, what? And Fiona was like, a witch put a curse on me. By day, I'm one way, by night I'm another, and I've been like this ever since I was a little girl.
Yes, and the curse went like this: by day one way, by night one way, by day another. This shall be the norm until you find true love's first kiss and take true love's true form.
So ultimately, she's stuck like this until she is kissed by her true love, in order for them to break the spell.
Yes.
So Fiona says, after she reveals all of this to Donkey, she tells Donkey that she must marry Lord Farquaad in order for this spell to be broken, and there's no other way.
And the Donkey's like, why don't you just marry Shrek? Y'all have some things in common. But Fiona's like, it just can't happen.
And then so meanwhile, while Donkey and Fiona are having this conversation, right? Shrek is on his way. He's decided, to take Donkey's advice. And he's going to tell Fiona how he feels about her. He's even gathered up like some flowers and everything. And he makes his way to her resting area. And right before he is about to open the door, he overhears Donkey and Fiona talking. And he hears her say,
how could like an ugly beast she says like the words love and ugly beast, and it just wouldn't happen. And then Shrek thinks that she is referring to him,
but she's really referring to herself.
Yes. And that's why you don't eavesdrop, everyone.
Right. And then so of course he's angry, of course he's heartbroken, he's pissed off, and he walks away.
He's like, okay, I finally let my freaking guard down and I be myself, and once again I'm just an ugly ogre.
This is what happened.
This is why I don't let people in.
So Donkey tells her, okay, you should at least tell Shrek the truth. And Fiona's like, whatever you do, just promise me that you will not tell him. So then she finds like, a sunflower. She picks the petal off. She does do I tell him? Do I not tell him? Shall I tell him? Shall I not tell him? And then on the last petal, she decides that she will in fact tell Shrek that she is an ogre.
Dang.
A hideous one at that.
Oh.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Fiona, the next morning, runs out. Well, the sun's coming up.
Yes.
So the sun's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So she decides, okay, she's still in ogre form right now. So she decides, okay, I'm going to go tell him. She runs out. She's still an ogre. The sun's coming up. And then she instantly turns back into a beautiful human being instead of a hideous ogre.
Right. But still, she's like, okay, I can still tell him the truth,
Right. She still's like, I'll still tell him no. So she runs out and she's like, Shrek. And then Shrek's walking up. and
Angry.
he's visibly pissed.
Ah.
And she's like, "Hey, are you okay?" He's
we
like,
talk?
"Oh, I'm fine.
Ooh.
I'm great. I'm okay. I'm doing
are
good."
you?
And then
Are
she's
you?
like, okay.
Don't sound like it.
Well, I do have something to tell you.
So she's like trying to explain herself, and Shrek is like, "Oh, I know what you said last night." And Fiona's like, "Oh, you overheard what I said, that I told Donkey that I'm an ogre." And so she thinks that he's disgusted with the fact that she's an ogre.
But
They're both confused.
They're just confused because she thinks, right, that he knows that she's an ogre, and he is disgusted by the thought of it, and she thought that he would be okay with it.
Right.
And she thinks that he's not. But he thinks that she thinks that he's disgusting because he is an ogre. So they're both just confused.
Right. They both think they both are ugly and undeserving of love.
Yes.
They both think that they both think that. I'm like, oh, projection.
And then so...
Projection. Communication, everybody. That's why you
Right.
talk things out.
That's why you gotta talk to people.
So you should have been like, so I heard last night you called me an ugly ogre. And she'd have been like, I ain't call you no ugly ogre, but you did. No, I
Right.
didn't. I was talking about myself. And he'd have been like, oh. And we'd be like, oh. And they'd be like, oh. And then they fell in love.
Period. So then, as the conversation comes to an end, Lord Farquaad pulls up because, you know, Shrek sent out for him. And he was like, whatever, I don't give a crap. Here's your man. Here's the man you're supposed to marry.
Mm-hmm.
Introduce yourself to Lord Farquaad, since you so crazy about him. And then we're introduced to Lord Farquaad again. He gets off of his horse. Fiona sees that he's about 2 feet tall. And she's like, okay, well, this is the man
Right.
I'm gonna marry.
Yes.
Then. And Lord Farquaad proposes to her, and she says yes. And he's like, great, we'll have the wedding tomorrow.
First thing in the morning.
And then Fiona's like, because she's
That
going to
would
turn
work.
into an ogre. And then she's like, why wait? Let's do it today before sunset. And then he's like, oh, you're eager, aren't ya? Aren't ya? And he's like, you're right. Why wait? Let's do it. Guards, invite the guests. Prepare a wedding. We're getting hitched.
Tonight.
And then so she hops on the horse with Lord Farquaad.
She
She says, farewell, ogre.
This is the meanest thing she said all day.
I'm so rude.
That was so
Farewell, ogre.
Not
And-
by Shrek.
And, you know, Shrek and Donkey head out.
Yes.
And so does Fiona.
So
in
this-
opposite directions.
So at this point, Fiona's running off with Lord Farquaad, and Donkey's like, whoa, what's going on? He tries to convince Shrek to go after Fiona. But not only is Shrek mad at Fiona, he's also mad at Donkey, because he was like, I heard what you said last night and calling me, you know, an ugly ogre. I can't, you know,
I
other
trusted
night,
you. You're
right.
supposed to be my friend.
Exactly. He also tells Donkey, and Donkey's confused. He's like, what? No, what? That's not what happened. And then he, you know, in his anger, he tells Donkey that he's not welcome at the swamp. And he calls him all these mean names. And he basically leaves a hurt Donkey behind as Shrek heads home to his swamp.
Amen.
Yes. So Shrek, now having abandoned Donkey, we get like a montage of him going to his now vacant swamp as Hallelujah plays in the background. I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Now, why does this beautiful song work so well
This
with
movie has
animation?
arguably one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard.
It's so good.
This soundtrack is phenomenal.
Every time I see Hallelujah and I watch this movie, I'm like, I could cry.
Like, literally, so good.
So good.
So good.
So during this montage, not only do we see Shrek going back to his empty, swamp, we also see Donkey reunite with a very sad and distraught dragon, and you can kind of see like the dragon, a dragon. And they kind of like, you can see like they like reconcile, they become friends. Everyone's sad. Everyone's just sad because everyone's lost their love. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of see like them, like, they're gonna start a friendship.
Right.
So Shrek has made it back to the swamp. He's not as excited, as he would have been. You would have thought he would have been to be back at his empty swamp. He could tell that he's clearly feels
There's
like
some
loneliness.
emptiness
There's some
there.
emptiness there.
There's some emptiness
Yes.
there.
he's not happy with himself anymore like he once was. Which is actually kind of sad because not only was Shrek thriving in Me, Myself, and I, like he was great before all this crap happened.
Yeah, he was perfectly fine. He was doing good.
He was doing him.
He was sitting at the dinner enjoying his wine and his candlelight dinner.
He was doing me
before all these people walked into his life
and ruined it and showed him what love is. Ugh, and took it away from him.
How rude, the audacity.
So Shrek is just sad at a swamp. It's just sad.
It's just sad.
And then Donkey returns to the swamp, and Shrek sees him outside building a wall out of stick. And then Shrek comes out. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm building a wall around my half of the swamp."
He's like, "Your half," and then Donkey's like, "Yeah, my half. That's your half." And this is my half.
I did half of the work.
He's like, I did half the work. I helped find Princess Fiona. I helped bring her to Lord Farquaad, so I get half of this swamp.
Fair.
And then Shrek is like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then they start arguing. Of course, they have a bicker.
Yes.
And then
Donkey finally says, like, you know what? You've always been mean. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and get everything that I've been thinking about. You always been mean to me. Every time I try to be nice to you, you don't know what a friend is. Why you like this? Why you always pushing me away? And then Shrek is like, if I'm so abusive, then why'd you come back? And he's like, because that's what friends do.
That's what we're here for.
Yes, that's Donkey's a real one. And then Shrek, can't handle this. And he runs into the porta potty to hide from Donkey's realness. And then Donkey is like, you pushed me away, and then you pushed Fiona away, and I think she even loved you. Someone who cared for you and loved you pushed her away. And then Shrek, from inside the porta potty, he's like, then why she call me an ugly, hideous creature? And Donkey's like, that's not...
She wasn't talking about you.
She wasn't talking about you.
And he's like, well, who was she talking about? He was like, I can't tell you.
Why can Donkey all of a sudden keep a great secret? He doesn't seem like he would keep a good secret, but he is tight-lipped. So at this point, Shrek is like, okay, Donkey's telling the truth. I believe him. And then he apologizes to Donkey and asks for his forgiveness. Donkey agrees, and they both, become friends again. And after reconciling, they quickly, Donkey's like, okay, we have to go stop the wedding that Fiona's about to do. And Shrek is like, how are we going to get there? And Donkey's like, I know a girl. So he whistles for his new BFF, or
his new boo thing,
if you will, Dragon. And he's like, okay, we're going to ride on the back of Dragon, and then we're going to go to Duloc, and we're going to stop this whole thing. So Shrek and Donkey, quickly arrive at the wedding. Shrek is ready to go inside, and Donkey's like, wait.
He's like, you have to wait for the most romantic time and perfect moment to do it. You have to wait right until the priest says, does anybody object? Then you have to run in there and say, I object. And then Shrek's like, okay.
Okay.
And then so Shrek ignores him and runs in anyway.
Yeah.
And Fiona is not happy to see him.
She's like, what are you doing? Why are you ruining my special day?
And Shrek tells her that she can't marry Lord Farquaad.
There's something lovely about him, Jade.
You're right. And when she asks why, he says because he just wants to be king and he is not your true love. And Lord Farquaad realizes that Shrek has fallen in love with Fiona, and he starts to laugh at him, which causes the townspeople to laugh, and he's like, ha, 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 ha.
Stupid
the ogre has fallen in love with the princess. Fiona then realizes that Shrek does love her, and instead of kissing Lord Farquaad, Fiona waits for the sun to set and transforms into an ogre so that Shrek can see who she truly is.
Yes.
Even though she's not truly an ogre, she's truly a human.
She's halfy.
Whatever. So she transforms into an ogre because the sun is setting and it's sunset.
Oh, sorry.
Did they kiss yet?
No, I don't think they kissed. No, they haven't kissed yet.
So now she's an ogre, and everyone's like, gas.
And then Shrek realizes, oh, I did hear everything back. You was talking about yourself. You wasn't talking about me.
And then, so of course, everyone's outraged. Everyone's disgusted, but especially Lord Farquaad, and he orders the guards to kill Shrek and take Fiona away and lock her up and be in prison.
Right. Could you imagine? I just got out of literally 2 days ago, I was just locked up. You trying to lock me up again? Hell
and
no.
so he says he still wants to marry Fiona, however, so he can still technically be king.
I'm king, everyone. You saw it.
Yeah, you saw it. I'm king.
I did it.
So Shrek tries to fight off the guards, but there's way too many of them. And then this is where Donkey comes in. He whistles for does the dragon have a name?
Dragon. No.
He whispers for Dragon.
This dragon.
To come in and
Donkey's
save them. So Dragon bursts through the stained glass windows of the church.
Gorgeous.
And she lands and she swallows Lord Farquaad whole. She eat him up, baby. She eat him up.
Damn. That's one way to kill someone in a children's movie.
Yeah.
How'd he die? He was eaten.
Right. So then Shrek and Fiona profess their love to each other and they share a kiss.
Aww.
So the kiss, I wouldn't say it breaks the spell.
It does in a way.
Break, I wouldn't say.
Well, if the
it
spell
kind of
was
sets the spell permanently, if you ask me. So now the spell isn't broken. Now after the kiss, Fiona's now stuck as an ogre for the rest of her life.
the spell's working, but not in the way that she thought it was gonna go.
Do you know how pissed I would be?
Well, it's true love.
I'd be pissed.
I wonder if no matter
That's my
what.
one caveat about this movie.
Oh no! What you thought?
I don't like it.
No, I like it.
I don't like it.
I wonder if she would have kissed like a human, someone she was in love with, or would she have still turned to an ogre? I wonder if this
she
would
would have turned into a human.
You think?
The reason why she turned into an ogre because she kissed Shrek.
Well, yeah. But what if this little witchy fairy tale person is just a douche? She was like, "You're gonna turn to an ogre."
I mean,
no matter what.
you've got to be pretty douchey to turn
because
a person into an ogre.
Because your true love is gonna love you no matter what, ogre or not. But anywho,
I don't like that she's an ogre.
What? That's the whole. The movie's called Shrek, which is basically ogre. If she turned into a human, it would be the same.
I would have liked her as a human. Anywho, that's my one caveat, and I will stick with it.
That's one big caveat.
So the spell is not broken, as Jordan would like to say. She's just permanently set as an ogre. But Shrek reassures her that he still finds her just as beautiful. Then we see a flash forward, and they are getting married.
Yeah,
with all the fairy tale creatures in attendance.
I thought love only true in fairy tales. Oi!
And a minute down.
That's our face. Okay, yeah. So
now I'm a believer.
Boom, boom.
Without a trace.
Yes. So they get married. All the fairy tales creatures are in attendance. Shrek, along with his group, sing off Shrek and Fiona as they head on to their honeymoon. We see Donkey with his lava dragon. And all the fairy tale creatures are singing happy. And the movie ends happily ever after.
Yeah.
Period poo. You know what we did not talk about?
What?
This Shrek ride.
Why would we talk about that?
Because it's very important. So this movie, because it's also not going to be around for. I want to talk about it because it's based off this movie, and it's one of my favorite rides at Universal Studios. It is going away, so if you never rode it before, I'm sorry.
When we went, you didn't come, but when we went to Universal during Hurricane Ida, I was just like, I've seen this ride 1,000 times. When I rode it, I was just like, it's time to let it go.
I know, it's so fun. It's so timeless.
It's just we've seen it before.
But here's the thing: it's gonna be the exact same thing, but with another character.
You're right. That's true. We'll see. It's time.
I love it.
It's time. The one ride I wish they hadn't gotten rid of though was the Back to Future ride.
Yeah, I don't know why that trumps Simpsons. Jesus.
Yeah,
could have been Back to the Future. I don't know why Simpsons was an upgrade. I'm like, this show's been around for forever. It's also old. Back to the Future was better. Also, that ride makes me nauseous.
Right.
I really don't like it. I was like, oh my god. When I was riding, I was like, I am seasick. Get me off of this. I was like, I just had to close my eyes. I was like, I am visibly sick. I'm too old for this.
I love all of the rides though. They're all really great. Just some of them are a bit outdated.
Well, yeah, but I want a new ride because it's those rides they just rebrand them.
Yeah, just delete the whole thing and start from scratch.
Like I don't want the Shrek ride with just a different font.
Yeah,
It's the same thing. It just be a different story. Like if we're gonna get rid of it, get rid of the whole thing.
This is true. Okay, well, this has been fun.
Oh wow.
Look, I gotta take this wig off because I'm getting braids tomorrow. So
All right.
Gotta hit the hay.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you, everyone.
So
Tomorrow's my birthday. Don't forget to wish me happy birthday.
Yeah, so.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, review, comment, even if it's a bad comment. I hope you had fun with us tonight. Love you. Bye.
Bye, guys.